I'm here with Kate Kerwin, founder of She Codes, and off the back of a successful 2019, a lot's happened in 2020. Kate, why don't you tell us about the progress so far this year for She Codes and the programs?
Yeah, so it's been a little while since we've caught up. And it's been a pretty crazy year. I think it's been a crazy year for everyone.
It has.
So right now we've got our Perth Plus program happening. So we've got 25 super incredible women. We're in week 9 of the Perth program. We launched in Brisbane this year as well. So we were in week 7 in Brisbane of
That's
the Plus
great.
program too. We've had a couple of our flash programs, our 1-week programs, testing some online versions. We ran one in Geraldton a month or so ago as well. And we've got our 1-day workshop series and some virtual coding parties. So it's been pretty jam-packed.
Very busy.
No resting this year.
No, definitely not. Now, the interviews for the Plus program, I remember doing them back just as we all went into isolation, were via Zoom, and the ladies have had some online virtual training versus in class. How has that gone for them? Have there been any challenges, successes?
Yeah, so obviously when you're running something online, you've got to be really, think really carefully about how you do things online versus in person. And I think this is something quite interesting that a lot of people have just thought that you can just pick up an in-person thing, put it on Zoom and call it a day. And that's not the reality. There's a lot more work that gets put into it of restructuring and thinking about breaks. It's much more tiring when you're doing things online, so you need a lot more intentional breaks. And just have times to lighten the mood and get people chatting, because it's quite easy just to stay on mute the whole time and not interact. But overall, it's gone really well. I think there's a few people who defer better to in-person, that have had a better experience in person. But they're also doing really well online, and there's a great flexibility of being able to do things like a little bit more when it's convenient to you, have recorded sessions that you can jump back on later. And we've got some really interesting things now with Brisbane. One of our alumni from last year's program, she's actually mentoring the next batch of the Brisbane program, because she can, because it's from anywhere. And we've got a super awesome Katie, who works at Google. She's in Sydney. She'll be joining the Brisbane program as well. So I think there's all those little tiny perks of things that you can do when you're remote. You can have talent from anywhere. But there is also the challenges of engaging, and it's just tiring, and sometimes it's easier to have someone look over your shoulder and see the semicolon that you're missing. It's a little bit harder to explain that over a Zoom call, but
This is true. Now, the Saturday event, the first one, or the second one I should say, physically, was on Saturday at the new building. Fantastic turnout. The interest is still peaking, and a lot of varied people are coming along. How did the event go on Saturday?
yeah, so that one actually sold out in an hour and a half. Which is crazy. We didn't even have time to put up a Facebook event by the time that it sold out. So there's definitely still a lot of demand and people interested to learn. And I think one of the things that we've all learned from this year is that we are going to be moving more towards tech, and we do need these skills. And times like this, I think, have shown how much education and upskilling are going to be really critical in keeping our jobs and growing in our jobs. So tons of demand. The event went really well. We were looking at the feedback earlier today, actually. And yeah, really good feedback across the board. People are sharing their wins, that they built something. They had their little turtle running around eating cabbages and built their web page, and that they've had some success, which is awesome.
Well, they are always fun days. I've been privileged to attend many now, and I was saying to one of the Plus program cohorts earlier, the energy is amazing, and I think that's one of the main things. Now, off the back of the success that you had with She Codes, you've recently been nominated for a Frankie Award, which is the Good Stuff Award. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so the Frankie magazine are just celebrating people who've done good stuff. It's pretty much what the name says. And there's a whole heap of different categories: community, photography, graphic design. So I'm in a community category. And there's a people's choice as well as a judges panel. So voting's open till the 17th of this month. But yeah, it's pretty exciting to see good stuff and see what else is happening in the community around Australia too. I was looking at some of the other entries, and there's stuff that I've never heard about. So it's been quite a good.
Well, as you said, it's certainly a great time for people to continue learning at the moment, upskilling, and a number of these She Codes Plus cohorts from last year have actually came back and started to mentor, which I think is brilliant as well. But for anyone interested in any of the programs from She Codes, the Saturday event, Flash and Plus, get in contact with Kate on the details below.